the reason we are the way we are, how we can get everywhere, it's not because we have the biggest brains or anything or we're intelligent.
Yeah.
Our bodies were literally built to move. So the idea, when you're running, for example, just the idea of running, you start releasing dopamine into your
I
system.
hate it.
That's
I
how the
hate
body
running.
rewards you.
I fucking hate
But
running.
that's it.
Fucking. Take it away, buddy.
Hey guys, we're back, and weirdly enough, it is like 6 a.m. in the morning for me. It's way too early. I'm pretty tired, but this is going to be a high energy episode because we're talking right here today to Sikander, who is probably the most athletic guy I've spoken to. I don't know if you're like the fittest guy I've ever spoken to, but just looking at you, you've got that nice tight fitting shirt. You look like you're ready to go run a marathon like right after this episode ends, and that
That's a pretty
energy just
nice.
has me. That has me feeling on top of the world myself. So welcome so much to the show, dude. It is good to have you here, and we're really excited.
Thank you so much for having me.
But
Yeah.
yeah, guys, wait. I want to start this whole podcast off with a few facts about this guy. This guy's been lifting weights for around 10 years. He's been training people for 6+ years. He's a BJJ enthusiast and also I think he also practices BJJ. He's apparently also a calisthenics athlete as well. And he's trained under the biggest calisthenics athlete on the planet. Is that right? Is that right, Sikander?
Fitness FAQs amongst others, yes, for sure.
Okay, hold up.
Bro, your resume is fucking amazing, bro. Let's just fucking dive into it. What's with the whole
No.
calisthenics journey?
Wait. First, explain what all those words mean. So it's like, how am I supposed to know what the hell we're talking about?
All right, I guess let's
Sikander, take the
start
floor,
from
bro.
scratch.
Take the
All
floor,
right,
bro.
so this
Take the floor.
weightlifting. I think weightlifting everyone's familiar with. It started off with
Yeah.
bodybuilding in the 90s and all of that. Now you've got a lot of functional stuff, but essentially it's just lifting weights, right? You could do this to get
Yeah.
fit, sports specific. So I don't think I need to explain that too much. Jiu Jitsu, a lot of people aren't familiar with. That was there with the Gracies and all of that. It's ground grappling. Jiu Jitsu literally means the gentle art, but it's anything but. I'd love to dive into this a bit more.
Yes,
And
yes.
then calisthenics is a little confusing for a lot of people. I think till this day, there's so much that goes into it. A guy's doing handstands, it's calisthenics. A guy's doing a push
Yeah.
up, that's something you do in the weight room as well, right? Are you doing
Yeah.
calisthenics? The
Oh,
most
okay.
basic definition I can give for calisthenics, because I've thought about this a lot, is it's strength through body weight and neuromuscular control. I think that's the
Okay.
specific term I'd use. Having a lot of control over your own body.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's what I call it.
Holy shit. Okay, this guy just went all scientific on us.
That's pretty cool. He
Okay.
knows what he's about.
So tell us about your camp with that guy, the biggest calisthenics, one of the biggest athletes on the planet. Please, dude, I want
Well,
to dive right into that.
it was really interesting actually. So I've been following a lot of these guys, I think as back as like 2015, 2016. So I think
Yeah.
everyone on Instagram on your feed, if you're following fitness stuff, you see people doing these crazy things, balancing on one arm, running around, all of that.
Yeah.
So I used to follow all of these guys. I've seen their YouTube videos, and then out of the blue, this was in 2019. I see this camp. There's a camp going on in Bali. And all of a sudden, I'm like, should I go to this? But I'm like, no, I've got work, I can go again. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's shut our mind off. Let's not think this through. And I signed up.
Wow.
And honestly, I think that was probably the best decision I made in my life. The gym I
No
went to was
way.
called Nirvana Strength Bali. If
Yeah.
you want to go to any gym on this planet, that's what I'd say. That's the place. They
No
will
fucking
make
way.
you feel like it's home. So there were about 20 other people other than myself, and you had some crazy people. You had like French powerlifters, Croatian ballerinas, Mexican footballers, and I
Croatian
think,
ballerinas. That's a
yeah,
new one.
like
That's a new one.
Andrea, she's a
Croatian.
good friend of mine. She is amazing. So to see someone do ballet like that, it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
I even met, Conor McGregor's movement guy, Ido Portal. I met some of the guys who trained with him as
Okay.
well. So,
Wow.
it's different
Okay.
seeing it from the screen. I just thought I'd be meeting a few coaches, like 4 coaches. You
Yeah.
mentioned that I was the fittest guy. Let me tell you this. Over there, I felt like the most unfit human being on the planet.
No fucking way, bro.
Those people are on another level. And then you had these Chinese powerlifters on the side. Like it was a different world.
Wow.
I'd say just being around people like that, not just the coaches themselves, who are pretty epic, obviously, but everyone over there was on another level. So I think
Wow.
that camp really
One
opened my eyes to, yeah.
one question I want to ask. One question. How long were you over there for? How long?
So the camp was for 7 days. We would wake up really early, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and train till the evening.
Yeah.
And the Nirvana strength actually kept a really cool idea as well. Every single day, they were
Yeah.
super hospitable. They take us for dinner. So then from
Okay.
training, it went to everyone getting to know each other. So it was very casual.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
think,
Kind of like this
and it was
podcast.
very kind of like this podcast. I was just going to bring that up. So it's like, although you're training, you're getting into it, and then the next thing you know, although you're just chilling, you're talking about different things.
Wow.
So I think that camp on its own, other than the few lessons, because it's what? It's 5 hours every day. That's
Yeah.
different. But it's just 7 days, right? There's
The
not a lot you can
energy.
learn in the energy.
Yeah.
It just makes you see, okay, this is amazing. I can do
Bro,
this and all of that. So
Bro, I want to
I
ask you.
think that changed my
I want to
training.
ask you a follow-up question. If you spend, let's say, 6 months in that environment, imagine the transformation that you might have gone through, which would have like exponentially increased your growth. You would have become like a fucking superhuman in the Pakistani scene at least. Like where do you think you would have been if you had spent like 6 months in that environment?
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna be really funny, but it'll connect to this so well. So
Yeah.
I'm the sort of person, I say I love traveling, but I don't know if I really do. Whenever I go anywhere, 2 days I go around, I'm like, I want to be home. I
Yeah.
remember, like, I was so pumped up. We went with family. We went to London, day number 2. Like, this was nice. I've done everything. I just want to go back to my bed. When I
Okay.
was in Bali, though, with this training camp, on the final day, I'm like, what's the worst that can happen if I don't board my flight? What if I stick around here? So
Wow.
that's the
Okay.
energy over there.
Holy
Like, I
shit.
love that place. I can vouch for anyone to go over there. It's just people, everyone's amazing. But to answer your question, definitely. I think it's less to do with the skills people have, which was amazing, but just being around those people, it kind of it kind of changes the way you look at these things. You're like, okay, I
Exactly.
can do this too. And when you're around like-minded people, it just kind of pushes how far you can go.
Bro,
Six
bro, I
months,
swear.
different athlete.
Bro, I swear, bro, it's the mindset and the high level thinking that people have that ultimately elevates you. It's being around that energy, those positive vibes and everything. I'm assuming, dude. I'm just here, just sulking in the energy that you're giving off right now, and I'm just like trying to put myself into that camp, even though I can't. I have atrocious stamina. I can't live for shit, and I'm just like, dude. If I was over there, I'd feel like I'd actually be the unhealthiest person over there. I wouldn't just feel like it. So, but like, dude, I'm just like feeding off of what you're telling me, and I'm just like trying to imagine myself in that place, and I can honestly like visualize myself being there amongst all these great people, these great athletes who are doing incredible things.
Do you know what an isolation tank is? The sensory deprivation
Yes.
tank. I
Do
got
they
to go
have
to
one of
one there for the
those?
first time. Not there. There's a place over there. Was a part of the program. They'd give you. They take you to all these places, right? One of them was the sensory deprivation tank. So I'd seen it on the
Okay.
Joe Rogan podcast. He has a really
Yeah.
nice strobe, dead mouse mix of it. What it's like, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
it is unreal.
What
Imagine
does it do?
losing. So basically, the idea is it's this tub, it's this tube, right? And all your senses, as the name applies, what do you call it? They have salt water, so you're floating. The temperature is with your body temperature. You can't hear anything, you can't see anything. Over time, all your senses are gone until it's just your thoughts, you and your thoughts. And it takes peels off layers and layers and layers. I thought, oh, this is going to be cool. It took me 2 attempts to actually go and sit inside it. I'm like, whoa, this is too much. But definitely, when it comes to meditation, the self, all of these
Wow.
things, it's just you and your thoughts. And it's
Wow.
quite the experience. I didn't even plan for that, but I think that was amazing. And I think Pakistan needs one of those as well. It's
Do
That sounds
profound.
why do we
amazing.
why do we not have that? Why do we not have that over here?
I
I mean,
think
you
What's
it's more
could.
of it's more of an unawareness thing because I think it's not very well known anywhere really. It's just it's kind of a niche which you'd really look into. You're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I mean, if you started getting all these advertisements, isolation tank, you have them everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So
You
it's
could
one of
definitely
those.
put one together, right? Like, it's not like it's insanely technological. You just need people to want one.
Yeah, the basic one you could pretty much
Yeah.
make at home. I don't know enough about it, but I think there are all these guides online. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's that.
Saman, take it
But,
over, bro.
listen, you know how this has me feeling right now? This whole conversation? You ever, like, go for a really nice workout or a run, and then you just want to lie down, go to sleep, take a nap? Just talking
It's
about fitness for, like, the last
Bro,
10 minutes? That's what I want to do right now. I just want to jump
bro,
into bed, and I'll feel like I've accomplished something today.
bro. I think it's fucking
so
6 a.m. for you. I think it's a sleep talking, bro. I think it's.
Or this is the best
It
way
could
to
be.
start your day, right? You could just get into a workout after this.
Yeah.
So that would
Yeah.
be pretty nice as well. But
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. There's the basic explanation, and then there's the science behind it as well. I would like to mention a very interesting TED talk. I think
Yeah.
everyone needs to see it.
All
It's
right.
called "The Real Reason for Brains" by Daniel Walport. It's a TED talk. It's about 20 minutes. It's available online. That will literally change the way you view the idea of fitness. So most people get into it to get into shape, health. Everybody knows this. But the discussion goes how there's a new body of evidence suggesting human beings, the reason we are the way we are, how we can get everywhere, it's not because we have the biggest brains or anything or we're intelligent.
Yeah.
Our bodies were literally built to move. So the idea, when you're running, for example, just the idea of running, you start releasing dopamine into your
I
system.
hate it.
That's how
I
the
hate
body
running.
rewards you.
I fucking hate
But
running.
that's it. I'm sure you get the runner's high afterwards, though, right? Like you're like,
Acha,
okay,
wait.
I hated that,
Yeah,
but I feel good.
100%.
Tell me what it's called. Okay. I don't know about these technical terms, but Sikander, okay, let's say I'm running for half an hour, right? For the first 10 to
Yeah.
15 minutes, I'll absolutely hate it. But then after that 15-minute mark, I'm just running and it's just effortless and I have and it seems like I have infinite stamina. I like to consider that mode. Is that what's called runner's high? Because I like to call that God mode. Because after that initial period of just pain and having no fucking stamina and not wanting to do it, after I go through that pain threshold, it's almost effortless for me and I can just run for seemingly
And
infinite.
run and run.
Yeah. Is that
So
what running is?
I'm not. Runner's high is more of that. What do you call it? The good endorphins and everything that rush you get post workout. So that's
Yeah,
more
I
of a
don't have
chemical
that.
reaction going on.
I don't
I
have
think
that.
honestly, you can get that from pretty much anything. Running is just so close to our biology, so you get more of
Yeah.
that. I'm not too sure about the technical terms, but I think what you're talking about, 10, 15 minutes, be it a workout, be it running,
Yeah.
you enter this flow state, right? This
Yeah, God
flow,
mode.
this trance, and you're just like, yeah, God mode, like you call it. So I think that happens with pretty much any workout.
Yeah.
Previously, we were just talking about how, what do you call it in fitness? What's the best feeling? Do you take a nap or anything like that? Personally, for me, it's that post workout shower. It's like, okay, I never want to leave, right? You're just like dead after
Oh.
that. It's the best feeling on the planet. It feels like
Oh,
I've
yeah.
accomplished something and I can sit here
Yeah.
and die. So
Oh
that's
my
probably
God.
the number one for me.
Wait, is the feeling over there because you've accomplished something and like mentally you're like, okay, now I've done what I've needed to do and I can die? Or is it because your body's so exhausted that you don't want to leave?
I think it's a mix. That's actually
It's
very
a mix.
interesting. I'd say it's a bit of both. But the days you really don't want to work out, it's more like I've accomplished something. Definitely. It's like, okay, I don't want to do this. I've done this.
Yeah.
I can, be in
Yeah.
peace now. So I think it's a mix for sure.
Dude,
You know
that's
what I've
interesting.
noticed? Before the pandemic, so I used to go to the gym like every day, right? And one thing I really enjoyed that felt like the equivalent of God mode right there is waking up, or not waking up, just I stay up late, it's 2 a.m., I'm about to sleep, and I'm like, you know what? No, let me go to the gym. I'd work at like 2 a.m. for an hour, and it's the most peaceful thing like I've ever done. Especially if
No,
there's no one else, it's just you, a bunch of weights,
it's very
and like pure
meditative, right? You
silence.
just zone in, you're in
Yeah,
your own head and all of that.
Mhm.
So
exactly.
I think there are two kinds of people. There are people who like working out with other people in the gym as well. It's like, hey man, let's go hit the gym.
Yeah.
And then there are those people who just want to go on their own. It's like, I'm done with everything. This is me time. That 1 hour, you're either lifting weights, whatever you're doing, you just kind of tune in. So I
Mm.
think it really depends on what you're like personally.
I'm not the latter. I'm the first type. I want to go with people.
Oh,
I need my fucking friends to be there because otherwise I'd be like, because I'm gonna be honest, Sikander, if I don't have anybody holding me accountable externally, I'd be missing sets. I'd be missing my reps. Because my friends ask me, did you do 15 reps? I'd be like, no, I only did 12, and I'd have to do 3 more just to
you've
like,
got some great friends. I actually think when you've got friends who come with you, they're like, man, you can ditch this set. What's happening after this? So you've got two kinds of friends. They're like, let's do this and let's not do this. We're just here together.
No, I got the let's do this type. I've got the let's do this
No,
type.
no, I think that's amazing. It does keep you in the flow of things and makes it really fun as well. I think
Yeah.
working out with others is always a lot of fun. So
Okay, bro. Another thing that I want to hit on is that something we were talking about off the podcast, like right before we started. It's something about breathing. You were talking about breathing. Like I was, guys. For context, I was talking to Sikander about my leg day yesterday. It was fucking atrocious, and leg day always makes me feel nauseous. And he's like, it's probably something to do with your breathing. So, and I'm like, dude, I never thought about that. Maybe you can expand upon breathing and what that entire world is on here.
Oh, wow. Breathing goes really, really deep. I'll give you a little bit of
Yeah.
context as well. I did not even understand breathing until 6 years into weightlifting and all of these things.
Okay.
And I actually found it through martial arts. That's the first touch I had on
Yeah.
breathing. The idea is
Yeah.
if you're throwing a punch, for example, you'd know this. You mentioned you're into striking and all
Exhale.
of that too.
You exhale.
If I hold my breath and throw punches, what's going to happen?
Weak.
I'm going to gas out. I'm going to be tired, right? Carbon dioxide buildup and all of that. And I thought that was about it. But the more you get into it, now working with clients as well, it's a different ballgame. I've noticed if I can simply get someone to breathe properly, they kind of fall into that flow, kind of like running as well. And you're just able to contract your muscles harder as well. So much goes into it. I'd say I can't do breathing that much justice. If anyone wants to really look into it, there's a book called Breathe by James Nestor, I believe. He is on Tom Bilyeu's podcast, Impact Theory.
Yeah.
It's an interview about breathing. That man goes in deep. He's a journalist who covers deep sea divers, how there are people who go all the way to the bottom of the ocean holding their breath,
Yeah.
and how breathing can literally shut off different parts of your mind or activate them. And how
That's
half the issues we have
fucking
is
crazy. That's
because we don't breathe
crazy to
properly.
me. Just from breathing and controlling how you control the airflow.
You guys might
I'm
know
assuming
Wim Hof.
Yeah,
Are you
I was
the
just about to
Iceman?
bring on Iceman. I was just about to bring up the Iceman. Yeah.
So I think he's made it really popular as well. I mean, there was
Yeah.
previously people are talking about, okay, breathing's whatever, I'll do it, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
That man has broken more than 22 records, ice related.
Yeah.
So much so he's in the biology books now. He,
Yeah.
I believe, managed to control the autonomous nervous system or so.
Yeah.
He can access the deepest part of his
I-
brain just through breathing.
I am aware of his accomplishments. Dude, Sikander, by the way, just for you guys over here, since the deal is dead, we were this close to getting Wim Hof on the podcast. This
Oh, no way.
close. We were this close. But dude, things fell through and we couldn't make it happen. But bro, I'm just gonna revel in that accomplishment that we almost had Wim Hof come on this show.
I'm friends with him on Facebook. I hit him up actually.
Really?
I was trying to get him to Pakistan as well. We spoke briefly, yeah. But
if we can hit that angle, because I've already tried this direct one. If we can hit the hook, the side
I'll give it
angle.
a try. I'll message
Yeah.
him. I don't know if he'll get back to you guys, but for sure, I'll
Yeah, we'll
definitely
see,
try to put a word in.
We'll see.
Okay, since we're running out of time, I'm gonna ask you one question, and then I want you to ask me and Salah the question. Anything
a
you
question.
want, completely random. But
Yeah.
before that, I want to hear about jiu-jitsu because I want to know what goes into picking a specific martial art, why that one, and what it's like.
Oh man, this is definitely this is a great question, by the way. I think this is the one area, so it's interesting for jiu-jitsu. I compete at the amateur level, but that's more for fun. I think I spend more time training. I'm training almost every week, at least 4 to 6 times a week for 2 to 3
That's
hours at a
crazy.
time.
Yeah,
I do teach it
yeah.
as well, but I never plan on pursuing it professionally. That's the interesting thing. I love it. I'm always into this world. It's very difficult to understand this unless you do martial arts yourself, but it's very therapeutic. Pun intended, I guess it keeps you grounded. But
Yeah.
to answer your original question, how did I get into jiu-jitsu? So I think this is something everyone should do. People talk, oh, what's my passion? What's my passion? I feel like you should explore as many different avenues as possible. You won't know what you like until you try it. So for me, I picked up MMA initially, which is everybody knows UFC style mixed martial arts. That's got striking,
Everything.
grappling, all of that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tried capoeira, that Tekken Eddie Gordo style as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And I tried taekwondo as well, especially when I was younger, boxing, all of these things. But for me, jiu-jitsu is essentially like
Just
human chess.
resonated. It just resonated.
It just resonated with me because it's like a
Yeah.
game almost, and it's the most effective martial arts. And this has now been proven. I don't want to throw some controversial statement out
Yeah.
there. That's how the UFC
Yeah.
started, the Gracies,
Yeah.
and a lot goes into it. I mean,
Bro.
the fight world's evolved so much now,
Yeah.
but that's definitely a good base to have.
Bro, speaking of jiu-jitsu, man, I have a little gripe with jiu-jitsu, like a small thing with jiu-jitsu. As I told you, I'm more of a striker than a grappler. This one
Yeah.
time, I took a jiu-jitsu class, and what happened was that I was winning, okay? There was this new kid on the block. He's like, okay, it was his first or second day, and I was like, okay, I'll roll with you. I started rolling with it. It was no gi, by the way. I was
Okay.
rolling with him. Easy tha. I get to his back, RNC, rear naked choke, and I'm in it, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna loosen my grip a little bit because I don't want to gas this guy out. I'm just casually rolling with him and everything, and maybe he'll tap out
Yeah.
like Aram say within the next second or two he'll tap out.
Okay.
My guy took advantage of that. He flipped me off his back. I landed on my shoulder. My collarbone snapped in half. And ever since then, I've been like, nope, jiu-jitsu
Oh, wow.
alone ain't something I'm sticking to. And then I took
think
like a
that's-
massive break in the middle, and then went back to striking.
No, I guess that makes sense, man. That's like what this was day one of rolling.
No.
Give you This
Day
was
one
a while into
for
it.
the other guy. This was day one for the other guy, but I had been like casually dipping my toes into like grappling and all that. So I knew a few holds like the triangle, the RNC. I knew a few of those. But that
So I think it's
trauma.
quite I
Just
can
like,
imagine.
yeah.
I think that's a lot of bad luck as well because I mean, let's say I'm very enthusiastic about weightlifting. I go pull
Yeah.
something and I mess my back up, right? I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to come back to this. My reward pleasure cycles are gone. It's like, okay,
Exactly.
it's bad. Let's do something else. Let's go for a walk.
Exactly.
So I think it's those one of those. I would say, and that's a youth thing, to do give it a try again as well. So I've rolled thousands of times at this point, and I've never been
Yeah.
injured from jiu-jitsu. And what's
Yeah.
interesting with jiu-jitsu is you're more likely to get hurt by someone who's just started out than someone who's advanced, right? Someone
That's
who knows body
exactly-
positioning.
That's what I learned. That one day. Don't roll with newbies. They'll take advantage of stupid mistakes that you make.
Because they don't even know what's going on. They're just like panic mode. I need to win this. And like after a certain
Yeah.
level, you're like, I want to fix my technique. I don't really care about winning. Then you still try
Yeah.
winning as well, right? But it's a
What's your favorite
mix
hold?
and match.
What's your favorite hold?
Uh,
All-time favorite hold?
Triangle. I mean, submission
Triangle?
or hold?
Submission.
Submission triangle for sure. Triangle is
Really?
something I've spent the most amount of time on. I've
Yeah.
been working on inverted triangles as well.
Uh-huh.
And I think because of calisthenics and all these flips, I really like inverting. So just spinning
Yeah.
around,
Just spinning the person
And-
around and then yeah.
all of that. So for me, triangle definitely. And I think I really like the logic behind it as well. It's using your legs, which are 3 times stronger than your hands. It's the essence of jiu-jitsu, fighting with your legs as well, right?
Okay. Okay.
If you know what you're doing, you're always going to be stronger than the other
Yeah.
person in front of you if you lock in a nice triangle. So yeah, 100%.
Nice
That's
triangle.
it for me.
All right, Sikander, we're almost done on time. Ask us a question real quick, and then we're gonna
Let's
answer
hear it.
and then we're just gonna go from there.
I'm gonna, I guess, ask you guys 2 questions. First of all, how did you guys meet? And everyone has amazing ideas, right? I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but they never do. How did this podcast really come together? Because this is amazing. You mentioned you've interviewed more than 50 people now. That's insane, dude.
86.
How did
86.
Well,
Oh,
not
wow,
86
okay,
people,
86.
but 86 episodes at this point, and like
Yeah.
counting. So
what
Yeah.
have you
Close
learned?
to that.
So many questions.
Salman,
Podcast.
take
and
it
all.
away, bro. This
What's
is
it
your
like?
this is your floor.
okay, all right. So me and Saad know each other from school. 7th grade through the end of school, we
Yeah.
were both there. We were like joined to the neck for parts of it. We hated each other for parts of it.
Yeah.
But we stuck through that. Back during the pandemic, I was talking to Saad about how I missed like meeting new people because I couldn't go out, and he was like, as a joke, he was like, "Let's start a podcast," and I was like, "You know what? Let's do it." And he was like, "You know what? Let's do it." And I was like, "Okay, like in a week we can start." And he was like, "No, tomorrow we're filming the first episode." I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay." So that's literally how it started, and no, we've met so many people. It has been such an awesome experience.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah,
One more question to all of this.
Yeah.
How
Of
has
course,
it?
dude.
What difference has it made on your own like perceptions and perspectives? Because you interview so many people from so many different
Yeah.
walks of life. What do you think is
Yeah.
the major takeaway? What's the
Dude,
pattern you've noticed with all of this?
Sikander, I want to answer this question by saying that we don't just have people from Pakistan come on, so we don't just have the one-dimensional worldview. We've had people from every single continent at one point come on this show and share their
Nice.
perspective or whatever they're knowledgeable about. We've had designers, we've had entrepreneurs, we've had goddamn people who are in Ivy League universities and are on
Oh,
massive
nice.
scholarships. So like we've had people from all walks of life, and what I've learned all throughout from their successes is that they all say the same thing. We ask them the same thing. How did you get here? What was your success pattern look like? They all said the same fucking thing, Sikander. It's like consistency. They're like, we don't give a fuck how many times we fail. as long as we keep going at it every single day for an unlimited amount of time, we know for a fact that we will hit some sort of breakthrough at one point or another. And they've all said the same exact thing, bro. It's not like कि अगर एक बंदे ने miss किया तो मैं नहीं. No, bro. Every single person
100%.
has said the same fucking thing, and it's just
And
it
it's
just
true.
blows my mind.
I think I can 100% agree with that. That's the first thing when anyone asks me about calisthenics or any of
Yeah.
these things. Oh, how long
Yeah.
does it take? I'm like, man, that's the wrong question.
Yeah.
The better question is, okay, how much work am I willing to put in, you know? Because so much goes
Exactly.
into it.
Exactly, bro.
Consistency is the key, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Even if you
And
guys, for example,
hopefully-
this podcast, you guys,
Yeah.
if you just did what, two episodes, 3 episodes, and like, nothing.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
consistency thing, right? So, 100%.
100%, man.
Definitely.
100%. And on that bombshell, guys, Sikander's been one of the most knowledgeable guests we've had on our show when it comes to the human body and breathing. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. We're done. Peace. Adios. Goodbye.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.